Welcome back to Design Bundles YouTube channel. If you guys are new here, my name is Crystal. Today I'm going to show you how easy it is to layer HTV, also known as heat transfer vinyl, and iron-on if you purchase it through Cricut. So I'm actually using what's considered everyday iron-on, Caesar Easy Weed. So they're all the same texture, if you will. There's no, there is a glitter one, but it's the same as everyday iron-on. I'll talk about it here in a second. So across the board, all of these settings are going to be the same. They are 315 for 30 seconds. Now the trick is you do not want to press each layer at 30 seconds. So we're going to press those for around 2 to 5 seconds on each layer, and our final layer will be the full 30 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the camera here. We're going to weed our HTV and we're going to put it together. All right, so going over the supplies really quickly, I have a Bella canvas t-shirt here. This is 100% cotton. I have a mixture of HTV. So I have Caesar HTV. This is a yellow. I've got their pink. So these are very similar to, as well as a white. These are all similar to Cricut Everyday Iron-On. And then I have Caesar Sparkle. This is so cool. It is just like Caesar Easy Weed. Once again, it's got the same cut settings. But what's really cool about the sparkle is it gives it that glitter look without the texture. So if you have kiddos that don't like that texture because it's kind of scratchy on the skin, this is super smooth and it is so cute. It's going to add that little bit of pop. So I've got that in pink, and then I am using a piece of smart material in black HTVs just to show you guys you don't have to just use it without the mat. So if you have scraps like this, you can still use it to cut on the mat. So I'm using that as well. Now with these ones here from Caesar, I do a 2-second tack down, and when we do this black one from Cricut, this will be a 5-second tack down, and we'll probably let it cool just a bit. So I have found a difference when using Cricut versus Caesar. All right, so we're just gonna go ahead and quickly weed these out. So this is such a cute little bundle. This one right here has a ton of designs, and not only to place on t-shirts, but you can do signs and stuff as well. So lots and lots of SVGs, PNGs, and all of that with this bundle. I have it linked down below for you guys. Look at how cute that is. Adorable. All right, so we're going to keep on going. Like I said, if you guys have not tried out Caesar Sparkle, I highly recommend it, guys. Look at this once you pull that off, that sparkle there. It is gorgeous. This is going to add that extra little pop to your projects, once again, without that texture. And then we can still cut everything on the same settings. I was able to cut all this on one mat. I didn't have to change my settings, and I also don't have to change my heat settings. So that's really nice as well. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and just quickly weed through these pieces. There's not a whole lot of weeding with this project, so this is very beginner friendly. So if you guys are just now getting into using your Cricut or your Silhouette, this will be a super easy project for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one right here. Perfect, so this is just our 2 little white dots for our eyes. So those are gonna go right about there. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get this little pink square, which is going to go on top of our bow piece. So as I'm going to layer these, I'm starting to put them in their little positions where they belong. So for example, this one right here should go somewhere right in here, which I'll figure that out once I get my, and I may need to cut these pieces in half, but I wanted them to cut together. So I figured I could cut this in half after the fact. So to save material, I just kind of connected those together. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and finish weeding out our last one here, which is this yellow. I think this is super bright and fun. This would be adorable with a cute little pair of pink shorts or blue shorts. So stinking cute. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and peel off those last pieces just like that. So we've got our lemon and the word day. So what I like to do whenever it comes to layering my HTV is you're going to need, for one, you need a piece of parchment paper. So you can grab this locally at your grocery store. I'll have a link down below. I like to purchase either a roll of it or I like to purchase the sheets. I really like the sheets because they're baking sheets ultimately. They're just already cut down for you. Now this one came off the roll. You're just gonna need a little piece of this. So what I'm actually gonna do with it first is while we figure out our placement of which piece goes down first, I'm going to use our parchment paper because these will not stick to it, if that makes sense. All right, so here we go. So I'm going to start with our lemon. So I think this will be our first layer that we're going to put on our t-shirts. And then I'm going to go ahead and line up Squeeze the Day. So I'm going to go ahead and figure out about where this guy's going to go. All right, so I think some are right about in there. And then for our last pieces, it's going to end up being B in our face. So I think those are going to go down at the exact same time, and then obviously our white piece is on top. So the way that you want to layer these is the way that you're going to be placing them on the t-shirt. So now that I have this as one solid piece, number one, I can place it on this this piece of parchment paper, or I can store it for whenever I actually decide to make it, or for example, once again, we're ready to go. So now what I can do, that this is a complete design, I can actually fold the whole thing in half, get a little crease mark up here at the top so I can figure out about where that's going to go. So I know on my t-shirt, I'm going to be able to line this up absolutely perfect. Now before we do so, let's go ahead and prep up our t-shirt. So we want to pre-press the t-shirt. This is going to remove any sort of moisture and smooth everything out. Now whenever it comes to kids t-shirts, you guys can see I'm using the bigger Cricut Easy Press 10 by 12 today. But you may need to use something like a pressing pad underneath if you're going to have any sort of seams as well. All right, so but mine is going to fit on here perfectly, so I'm not too concerned about that. You want to take your lint roller and go across. I've already done that. We're going to go ahead and set that out of the way. All right, so let's go ahead and line this up. Make sure you have let your t-shirt cool back down first, because if not, you're going to start heating up your HTV, and you definitely don't want to do that. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and figure out about where I want this to go. So when it comes to a used t-shirt, I usually just come down around 2 fingers. It's really easy when you first start making t-shirts to end up in the belly area. It really feels like you want to be somewhere right about in here, and when the kiddo puts the t-shirt on, it's going to be on the tummy. Ask me how I know. In the beginning of mine, and I still do it sometimes as well, is you just don't get to thinking, and you think somewhere right about in here, and the kiddo's going to put it on, and it's really somewhere right in here. So like I said, you want to be around 2 fingers or so when it comes to the used t-shirts, and for adults you want to be about 3 fingers or so. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and line this up, just getting it nice and centered. So somewhere right about in here looks pretty good to me. Pop this down, and like I said, we're going to now peel away all of these layers here and set them aside. All right, so we've got the first one. We don't want to adjust anything or move, and we're just going to do 2 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and go on top. I'm going to hit go. 1, 2. That's all it takes. Get it out of our way, and then I'll go ahead and turn that back off there. And this is a hot or a warm peel. But remember, this is not completely done, so you want to go nice and slow. Don't just yank that away, because it's not 100% secure. That's just a 2-second tack down, okay? All right, so once again, let your t-shirt cool back down just a little bit. You don't want to activate that adhesive on the back side. And what I can actually go ahead and do, you can either leave all your pieces on top, so that way we can line this up ever so slightly and keep it nice and perfect, or if you wanted to just go down with a 1, you could do so. So I'm going to go ahead and drop that pink, peel away this one. Now, because we have this piece exposed, what you can do is you can take that first piece that you took off and just cover up anything that's remaining, or you can just cover it at that point with a piece of parchment paper. So I'm going to show you first just using the extra, so that way you don't have to have a parchment. And then once again, we're going to go back on top for another 2 seconds. Now you see that I'm going over that entire design there, just 2 seconds. That's good. All right. We're going to be nice and slow here and peel that away. I'm telling you that Caesar Sparkle is gorgeous. So setting this out of the way, we're going to keep it once again. And now I'm going to line up these pieces here. So this little pink piece is underneath the black, and as long as this little pink piece here, you guys can see that, as long as that piece of plastic is not getting on top of these black pieces, we can actually press that at the same time. So as long, you can layer more than one, as long as those pieces are not touching. So as long as that plastic is not getting underneath that black layer there, we are good to go. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pop all this back on top again. And then this time, remember, this is the Cricut Smart material, so I want to make sure that I'm doing about 5 seconds this time. So I'm going to go ahead and do that just like so. Looks good. And if it starts to seem like it's not coming up, let it cool down a little bit and then keep peeling. So I'm going to go ahead and peel this plastic layer off here. And then slowly I'll start to peel away this. Now you can see the black is wanting to come up. So once again, with that Cricut Smart material, we definitely want to let it cool. So I'm going to give it just a second. You can definitely just, you know, move your t-shirt just like this and cool it down. If you have a cooling stone, if you're working on granite, you can flip it over on your countertop and rub it around a little bit. But like I said, you definitely want to, because this is not secured, and with the Cricut, it really needs that full 30 seconds to get going. So just let it press for 5 seconds and then let it cool down. All right, so I'm being nice and easy. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and carefully peel this off, just like so. And now you can see that pink piece went down once again because I did not have, I didn't have that, this wasn't touching any of this black pieces here. All right, and then now we can go ahead and get on our little white eyes there. So this time I'm just gonna cover everything with a parchment just to show you that. And what we can do is we can actually go ahead, before we do the full press, I'm gonna do 2 seconds once again, because I wanna do the final press without any plastic. Because when I go to peel this off, so I'm gonna be nice and slow there, I gotta have a couple little lines. So how you've cut this plastic, when you go to press that, you can get little lines in there. The way to smooth that out is just do your 2 second tack down. And now that everything is down, we're gonna cover it with a parchment. And this time, we're gonna press it for the full 30 seconds. So we're giving it just a little bit of pressure. So doing it this way, having that parchment paper for your final layer is just gonna smooth everything out. So that is it. So we're gonna go ahead and lift this up. Drop that down. And peel it away. And there you guys have it. It's going to make everything super smooth. So doing that final press with your parchment paper is just going to make everything super smooth. Look at those colors. Look at that Caesar sparkle. It is gorgeous. And there you guys have it. That's how easy it is to layer your HTV projects. So you guys can see how cute this came out. I hope you guys are going to recreate this. Make sure you guys have joined our Facebook community group, because over there we have giveaways, we have freebies going on, and then you can have lots of inspiration from other crafters, and you can get help quickly. Plus, if you want to share your projects, we can definitely check those out. Feel free to share all of your projects over there so we can see them. So if you guys recreate this, I definitely want to check it out. So make sure you guys share it over there on that Facebook community group. If you guys enjoyed this, please hit the like button down below and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.